and welcome to Storytime with me, Miss April from Janaden Hutton Public Library for the week of February 7th, 2021. I hope you are well today. I'm so glad that you're watching the video. Today, we're going to talk about a little animal, and he kind of was the star of the show just a few days ago on February 2nd. He has his very own day. He's usually pretty small and a grayish brown and kind of chubby cheeked. And you often see them running in front of your car across the road or digging holes in your garden. Do you know what animal I'm talking about? They have little ears and a little nose and whiskers. We're going to talk about groundhogs today. And the reason we're talking about groundhogs is, like I said, they have their very own day. We just celebrated it. It's called Groundhog Day. And that is an American and Canadian tradition, always celebrated on February 2nd. Do you know why we choose February 2nd? Well, interestingly enough, February 2nd is the exact middle day in the season of winter. So it's, boom, right in the middle between fall and spring, February 2nd. So that's why we choose February 2nd to celebrate Groundhog Day. And Groundhog Day is a tradition where we believe that a groundhog can come out of its den into a clear day, and if he sees his shadow, he will be scared and run back into the den, and we will have 6 more weeks of winter. And if he comes out from his den and does not see his shadow, then that means we're going to have an early spring. Wouldn't that be nice this year? I would love an early spring. However, our most famous groundhog in the USA and America is one we call Punxsutawney Phil. And unfortunately, this year, Punxsutawney Phil saw his shadow. So he predicted we have 6 more weeks of winter. Punxsutawney Phil is actually named for the town of a festival celebrating Groundhog Day called Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. And so Punxsutawney Phil is Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania's very famous groundhog. And every year at their festival, their Groundhog Day festival, they bring out Punxsutawney Phil. They determine whether he's seen his shadow or not. And the townspeople celebrate whether we'll have 6 more weeks of winter or an early spring. And like I said, this year he saw his shadow, so he has predicted 6 more weeks of winter. However, it's not a very good weather prediction. It's not. Punxsutawney Phil is only correct about 36% of the time, so not a lot of the time is Punxsutawney Phil correct about whether we'll have signs of early spring or a longer winter. In Ohio, we have our own groundhog, and I'm here in Ohio. You're likely here in Ohio. Our groundhog's name is Buckeye Chuck. And this year, Buckeye Chuck did not see his shadow, but Punxsutawney Phil did. So who do you think is right? Do you think it's Phil or Chuck? More winter or an early spring? What do you think? Boy, I don't know, but I'd really like to see that early spring, wouldn't you? It's so cold, and it's only going to be colder at the end of this week and next week. So, are you ready to talk about groundhogs? Let's get started. I have a rhyme for you, and then I have a book, and then we're going to sing a little song, and then we have a cute little groundhog craft. So let me get out my groundhogs. Do you see them? Yeah, we're going to count them today. 10 little groundhogs. Here we go. Let's all count them in their row. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good job. 10 little groundhogs. Again we go. Now let's count them nice and slow. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. 10 little groundhogs in neat rows. Let's count them as away they go. We're going to pull them off this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oops, I left it. 7, 8, 9, and good job, 10. Way to go. I will put my groundhogs away. Very nice job. Okay, so listen, Punxsutawney Phil and Buckeye Chuck are not the only groundhogs who get to predict the weather. I have a book for you today called Jeffrey Groundhog Predicts the Weather by Bruce Koscielniak. Koscielniak. Jeffrey Groundhog Predicts the Weather. There he is. He's sleeping. He has a sign that says, "Do not disturb." Thanks, Jeffrey. One morning after a long winter's nap, Jeffrey Groundhog popped out of his burrow to look for his shadow. It was February 2nd, Groundhog Day. The halfway point through winter. Jeffrey remembered what his mother had told him. If you see your shadow on Groundhog Day, go back to sleep, because winter will last 6 more weeks. If there is no shadow, spring will be here soon. There's his mother. Jeffrey hurried into town to tell the newspaper that he had not seen his shadow. "So, no shadow and spring is almost here, is that it?" asked Merton Moose. The story ran in the afternoon's Daily Gazette, their newspaper, and the headline is, "Groundhog says no shadow, spring has sprung." Within a few days, the weather turned warm, the snow melted, and the ground thawed. Spring had truly sprung. "Predicting the weather is easy," said Jeffrey. They're having a little spring festival. The following winter, Jeffrey dozed snug as a bug, dreaming groundhog dreams in his warm nest at the bottom of his burrow. Toward the end of January, folks started looking for clues as to what Jeffrey might predict, and they're calling the newspaper. And the moose is answering, "No, Mrs. Hen, you'll have to wait until February 2nd for Jeffrey's forecast." "Yes, Mr. Duck, we'll let everyone know if Jeffrey sees his shadow." All the other animals need to know. Shadow or no shadow. As Groundhog Day drew near, television cameras and lights were moved into place around Jeffrey's burrow. This year, everyone would be able to watch the biggest, groundhoggiest Groundhog Day ever. There's a sale on TVs so you could watch it at home. Jeffrey's handsome picture had been popping up all over town. Look, he's on billboards and on the sides of buses and on vehicles. Becoming famous. Bright and early on Groundhog Day morning, everyone waited for Jeffrey. There they are. There's the news camera crew. There's reporters. 1 hour passed. 2 hours passed. 3 hours passed, and still no Jeffrey. Jeffrey? Hello? Jeffrey? Called Merton the Moose. Are you home? They're looking for Jeffrey. Where is the groundhog? Jeffrey, are you down there? Oh, no. I've overslept, groaned Jeffrey. He flew out of bed and dashed out his door. Down in his warm den. And he made his appearance. Look at him, dressed like a movie star. Sunglasses on. Silly. Jeffrey! Jeffrey! Called Merton. What did you see? Was there a shadow? I don't know, said Jeffrey. With all the cameras and the lights and everybody crowding around, I could hardly see the ground in front of me, much less my shadow. So then the newspaper ran the headline, Groundhog doesn't have a clue. I don't know what I saw, says Jeffrey. Was there a shadow? Weather picture muddled. No one's sure. Now things were really up in the air weather-wise. Nobody knew whether to bring out the golf clubs or the snow shovel. No one knew whether to wax the skis or the surfboard. So what do? Do they stay inside and stay warm? Do they get ready for spring and summer? And no one had a clue whether to plug in the electric fan or the electric blanket. All weather reports were canceled. It was a very confusing time. Jeffrey, this is causing major problems, muttered Merton the Moose. We need your prediction now. Oh, all right, moaned Jeffrey. I'll have my answer by this afternoon. People are calling and asking, what is going on? Will we have winter or spring? So, in the newspaper, they said, Jeffrey says winter, 6 more weeks. It's official. Put springwear in mothballs. Jeffrey tells them, saw my shadow, 6 more weeks of winter. So Jeffrey, the moose wants to know, and the raccoons want to know, and all the animals want to know. How could you predict that the winter will last 6 more weeks? Asked Rebecca Raccoon. No one was really certain if there was a shadow or not. Did you guess? No, said Jeffrey. Remember, there was too many bright lights for him to know what was going on. He couldn't see the ground, let alone his shadow. Did you make a study of how weather works? Asked Sunny Squirrel. There's the raccoon, there's the squirrel. Nope, said Jeffrey. To be honest, I called my mom. On Groundhog Day, she always looks for her shadow, too. Whew, sighed Jeffrey. Predicting the weather is very tiring. I better get back to my nest for a nap. So, when he couldn't figure out the answer, he called his mom. And she knew what to do. And that is exactly what he did. He took a nap. I love that he called his mom. All right, I have a song for you. This is a sing and repeat song. So I'm going to sing, you're going to sing what I sing. Okay? Here we go. Groundhog, 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 groundhog. What do you say? What do you say? Did you see your shadow? Did you see your shadow? Will winter go away? Will winter go away? One more time. Groundhog, 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 groundhog. What do you say? What do you say? Did you see your shadow? Did you see your shadow? Will winter go away? Will winter go away? Very good singing, my friends. I hope you're singing along. Let me show you our cute little groundhog craft today. We're gonna make a little groundhog face. Isn't it adorable? And these are supplies that you will need. I have some construction paper. I'll leave that there so I can see it. What else? I have some construction paper for his face, and a little scrap for his ears, and a little scrap for his little nose. And this little scrap is his whiskers. This is for eyes and teeth. And then I have an actual scrap paper that we're going to use to draw a heart on, because if you notice, our groundhog is a heart, and so is his teeth. Do you see that? Yeah, so we'll use this to make a form for our groundhog body. I have a pencil to trace with, and a black marker to draw the dark pupils in the eye, a couple of glue sticks, because we need glue sticks for this craft, and my trusty scissors. And that is all we should need. So let's get started. I am going to back up a little bit so that you can see my work a little better. Oops, I just knocked over my board. And maybe pull this down just a tiny bit. I've got the whole area in front of me. Okay, so I'm going to make a heart. I'm going to fold my scrap in half, and I'm going to draw half of a heart on my paper. I'm going to kind of make it chubby. Chubby heart. I might need to smooth it out a little, which is what I did. And I'm going to hold this up so that you can see it. Okay, my friends? Do you see that? Half a heart? Then I'm going to cut out the heart. Okay, I cut out my heart. There it is. You can throw this in my scrap basket. Now I'm going to get my paper that I'm using to create my groundhog. And I'm going to put my heart on the paper and trace it. All right. I'm just going to set this aside. I'll need it again in a minute. So, you see my heart traced on there? I'm going to cut it out. If you don't mind the fold, you could just draw your heart right on your groundhog, on your brown paper you're using, or gray, or whatever color you are using for your groundhog. Yes, indeed. All right, so there's my heart. And I'm going to put this in my scrap basket because I do believe I'm done with it. Now, turn my heart upside down, put it in front of me, and next we're going to make our ears. So, I just have a little scrap piece of paper. I'm going to fold it in half because if I fold it in half, I only have to cut once, and I get two that are the exact same size and shape. I'm just going to freehand these. You can draw little round ears if you'd like. I'm going to make them somewhat of a fat, ovally shape. And there I have two ears. I'm going to tuck those in under my groundhog. See which way I like them the best. There we go, there we go. There we go. Just going to tuck them in. Not going to glue anything yet. I'm going to build my groundhog first, and then we'll glue it all on. So I have the round heart and the two little ears. Next, we're going to do his little nose. So I've got a black piece of paper. I'm going to just cut a strip off of it, and then I'm going to cut an oval out of this too. And if you cut it too big, you can always make it smaller, okay? So don't worry about that. There's my little nose. Oh, I like that nose. Stick it right there, and I'll put that in my basket. Next we're going to do is eyes. So I'm going to cut this in half, this little. I keep my scraps from other projects so that I can use them. And then you'll notice I folded my scrap in half so that I can have two eyes that are the same shape and size. And I'm going to just cut a bigger egg shape out of this. If you cut them too big, you can always make them smaller. There's my two eyes. I actually like them that big. I think they're cute. Yes, I think I'm going to leave them that big. And we need to cut some teeth. Now, what I'm going to do is, remember my heart? I can pick it up. I'm going to fold it back in half, and I'm going to draw a really little heart in here. Cut that out and use it as a form. Alright, I have a little heart drawn, half of a heart anyway. Now I'm going to cut it out. Then I'm going to use my form to see if it's big enough. I'm just going to put it there right on my groundhog. Oh yeah, I think that's big enough. Sure is. Okay. Don't get rid of that yet. We still need for a little bit more. Now I'm going to take my little heart form and put it on my white paper. It's going to be hard for you to see this at home, okay? Because white on white is hard to see on the camera. And I'm going to trace that little heart with my pencil. And I will show you that in just a minute. I don't need the form anymore. I can put that in my scrap basket. I traced the little heart. Do you see it there? And I'm going to cut it out. I dropped that. All right, and I will tuck that in on my little Cute little groundhog. He's so cute. All right. Oh, one more thing to cut. We need to cut whiskers for his face. So I'm going to just cut 6 little strips, okay? So we can count them together if you'd like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I can get rid of that, and I will put these up here because we'll put them on in just a minute. Now, the first thing that I want to do before I start to glue is put the pupils in my groundhog's eyes with my black marker. So I'm just going to draw them in. Just making a little oval, a long, skinny oval. All right. Now we can begin to glue our things on. And we're going to start with the front of the face, okay? So, going to put his nose on first. I'm going to bring back my heart to use to put my papers on so that I can glue. Yeah, that little scrap of heart. That way we don't get our glue on our table. I've got my groundhog nose on there. Then I'm going to put his eyes on one at a time. The nice thing about using the magic marker is it will bleed through a little bit through your paper, and you can see where to put the eye back when you have it where you want it. There's one eye, now the other eye, and then I'll hold this up and show you what it looks like so far. All right. So far, we have our eyes and our nose glued on. Now we're going to actually turn the groundhog face down so that we can put on his ears and his teeth. I will start with the ears. Just a little bit of glue on the bottoms of them. You'll see that. I'm putting it just on the bottoms. And I'll put an ear down here. And a little bit of glue on the bottom of this ear, and I'll put it over there. I'll show you. What do you think of his little ears? Aren't they cute? Now we need to do his teeth. So I just put some glue. You might be able to see the purple glue. I put it right here at the tip of the heart, the pointy tip. And I'm going to put his teeth right there. Do you see that? Very cute. Only thing left to do are his whiskers. So taking 3 at a time, I'm going to lay them. You can glue the entire whisker if you wish, or just a little bit at the ends. I'm going to do about half of each whisker. Got a little notice here on my screen. So I'm glued half of each whisker. I'm going to put one going up and one whisker going down and one right in the middle. We are running out of time. I need to hurry up. One right in the middle. See half the face? All right. And we just do that again with our other 3 whiskers. So glue half. Uh-oh. And glue the other half. And I'm done with my glue. I can put it in my basket. One whisker going up. That one went off on my finger. One whisker going down. And one whisker right in the middle. All right, there we go. There's our groundhog craft. What do you think? I think he's so cute. If you don't have materials at home and you'd like to make the groundhog craft with me, please give me a call at the library at 740-254-9224, and I would be very happy to put together a packet for you to be able to make the craft at home. I hope you've had a wonderful time. I hope you'll join me next week. We're going to talk about Valentine's Day and love and all that mushy gushy stuff. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.